Today, we'll discuss how HEDERA could be the appropriate platform to power Web 3.0 infrastructure. Deborah Farber, HEDERA's head of privacy strategy, published a white paper titled Architecturing for Privacy and Data Protection on HEDERA on November 11th. The paper described the limits of contemporary web protocols and how the original designers overcame them. The evolution of the Internet has transformed it into a tool for information sharing. The developers, on the other hand, did not design the Internet with privacy or security procedures in mind. Due to the web architecture being based on standalone computers, where organizations keep data, limitations in the security and privacy associated with contemporary Internet frameworks have led to. Data is centrally stored on a server and can be transferred or retrieved by clients. Data connected with a user is normally sent and stored on servers owned and controlled by a service provider whenever the user interacts with the Internet. As a result, users lose control of their own data to tech behemoths. The concentration of personal data in the hands of tech behemoths has resulted in an imbalance in the power of individual data. As a result, Internet behemoths will exploit such data to push advertising that tracks Internet users, leading to an expansion in surveillance capitalism. Furthermore, reliance on centralized storage has resulted in sensitive data in terms of. These variables have resulted in a rise in the number of Internet users being compromised by hostile groups. The suspicion of centralized entities that control and maintain personal data sets is stored. Data storage hypercentralization has resulted in privacy and security constraints. As a result, global academics and developers are investigating ideas that could make the Internet more decentralized. These innovations have been dubbed Web 3.0 initiatives. The Internet is growing more autonomous, intelligent, and open as it advances to Web 3.0. It would connect all data in a decentralized manner, which would be a significant improvement over the existing system, in which data is stored in centralized repositories. Since the introduction of distributed ledger technology, Web 3.0 advancements have gained traction, and the inherent qualities of DLT, such as smart contracts, DeFi, and dApps, as well as advancements in security measures. The use of distributed ledger technology, including blockchain and HashGraph, will eliminate the need for intermediaries during transactions. The re-architecting of the web further democratizes its control and strives to make it manageable by individuals. They each have a unique identity and personal information, with a number of DLT projects competing to be the go-to platform for Web 3.0 development. HEDERA may be the ideal option for such ventures. The nature of HEDERA may make it an appropriate platform for Web 3.0 development. Users connect with the HEDERA network via their HEDERA accounts, which function as pseudonymous identifiers such as 001234. This pseudonymous account ID is stored on the ledger and is protected by asymmetric encryption. This concept, which is shared by all blockchains and public ledgers, promotes the possibility of to avoid the common Web 2.0 interaction of an email, password, and other related information. Interacting with an application necessitates the use of personal metadata. As a result, HEDERA accounts keep the amount of data stored by a centralized entity to a bare minimum. Because HEDERA accounts are cryptographically hashed, details associated with persons, such as email and password credentials, are removed, and Internet users are protected. This component allows you to interact with the Internet without entering any personal information. The necessity for centralized entities to hold an individual's datasets will be reduced as a result. As a result, the Internet will become less centralized. The provision of dApps that represent specific firms will also result in the exclusive collection of essential details concerning individualized data. This element will result in a reduction in the amount of regulated data you gather in the beginning. The HEDERA Consensus Service has a number of characteristics that make it an appropriate platform for Web 3.0 development. Messages sent using the HEDERA Consensus Service can be encrypted by both developers and users. This will improve the confidentiality of customized data and reduce data collecting in general. Individual users will be able to encrypt personal datasets via the HEDERA Consensus Service. The HEDERA network is also capable of adhering to worldwide data protection laws, specifically those linked with personal data gathering in the EU, whereby encrypted personal data is collected. This information must be documented. Such measures are met by the HEDERA network, specifically through the network's mirror nodes. Mirror nodes are read-only nodes that receive information from consensus nodes directly. They enable collaboration between the larger HEDERA ecosystem and individual application owners. To save the ledger's whole history, mirror nodes will let dApps actively using the HEDERA network to comply with legislative requirements while also ensuring surface privacy and security. The HEDERA tokenization service also includes privacy and security parameters for users, making it a suitable platform for Web 3.0 development, with NFTs appearing to be a focal point in a number of industries throughout the world, particularly in the case of real estate tokenization and stock tokenization. HEDERA's tokenization service offers a number of characteristics that make it an excellent platform for the Web 3.0. Because NFTs are tied to the owner's account ID, NFT minting on HEDERA is pseudonymous. To decrease the risk of exposing their customers' personal information, businesses must comply with global data protection rules. We simply gather and process the bare minimum of personal data. The processing of minimal personal data sets in conjunction with HEDERA's tokenization service. This would minimize the exposure of individual datasets to the overall market, boosting security, as well as privacy. In addition to the technological components of the HEDERA network, HEDERA's governance is important. Another driving force that could propel the platform to superpower status is the structure. In the Web 3.0 protocols, whereas, with frequent upgrades and changes to internet laws, a team would be required to actively adhere to such parameters and network updates. It may have to be made in order to maintain such standards. Technical competence is required for those in charge of network governance to function effectively. Handle the underlying software of the platform. They require commercial and economic skills in order to drive the ecosystem's business operations. They require legal counsel to help them manage the ever-changing regulatory landscape. In other words, the network should be administered by a decentralized group of globally acknowledged industry leaders from every market on the planet. As a result, the HEDERA Governing Council is well positioned to prioritize the privacy of demands required to meet global regulations today and in the future, as well as the amount of HEDERA-related features listed in the aforementioned white paper. HEDERA is directly related with the World Wide Web Consortium, an international standards organization. W3C stands for World Wide Web Consortium. HEDERA's connection to the W3C is through the DLT project, which is a direct member of the Web Payment Security Alliance. The interest group is primarily concerned with improving the security and interoperability of web payments. The group carries out its objective by providing a forum for organizations to specify areas of collaboration and identify gaps in existing technical specifications in order to promote interoperability among various technologies. A number of well-known individuals and businesses are members of the Web Payment Security Interest Group, taking part in the provision of insights into web payment infrastructure. Participating companies that will directly participate to web-related topics. Payment infrastructure providers include Bank of America, MasterCard, Visa, and Microsoft, as well as HEDERA HashGraph. HEDERA's participation in such an endeavor may have been promoted, owing to HEDERA's offering of low transaction validation fees while providing high transaction throughput. As a result, the HEDERA network can handle over 10,000 transactions per second and validate such transactions at a charge of $0.01. HEDERA's excellent intrinsic capabilities are combined with the network's highest level of security. DLTs with proof-of-stake in networks that support asynchronous Byzantine fault tolerance. With HEDERA's high level of security and the network's large transaction capacity, HEDERA could be an excellent platform for facilitating transactions on a shoestring budget. Via the internet, HEDERA's HBAR token, on the other hand, might be the underbelly for payment processing. What do you think of HEDERA? Do you believe HEDERA is an appropriate platform for Web 3.0 development?